I'm SCETV meteorologist Andrew Wulfeck here in the Weather Center, continuing to track this winter storm that is dumping snow all across the state right now. We'll go right to the graphics to show you exactly what's happening. Here you go. Here's a national look. We have snowfall from the Jersey Shore southward to the Del Mar Peninsula, through the Outer Banks, into South Carolina, into Georgia. We even saw snowflakes in Tallahassee earlier today. We'll zoom on into the Palmetto State to get a better idea of what exactly is happening. Greenville, it looks like the worst of the snowfall is already to your east. It's along I-26 right now, and it continues to spiral. So if you're underneath one of these bands that you see, it is certainly going to be heavy out there. Everything is working off to the south and to the east. So dry air is actually eroding some of the western precipitation across the western part of the state. So those of you in Greensville, you might be getting a break. We'll take a look at cameras in just a second to see exactly what's happening out there. Those of you in Columbia, you saw your heaviest precipitation. It has now moved east. You're not done. You still could get at least an inch, maybe two by the time this event is over. But the heaviest precipitation by far is over the PD right now. And that's where you see these dark blues towards the southeast of Rock Hill and towards the Florence area along I-95. That's where the heaviest snowfall is right now. And I will bring your attention to this. We don't want to leave out the low country. We love the low country around here. Parts of it are seeing ice. Parts of it are seeing snow. We'll really zoom in so you can get a better idea what's happening. Now, according to the Doppler radar, Hilton Head and the Savannah area are seeing that ice-snow mixture, and that's because of the warm Atlantic and the southerly flow in that particular region. However, if you head north towards Charleston, it has now transitioned into snow, and it will remain snow, by the way, for the rest of the day and into the night. Myrtle Beach, you have a big dry slot over the top of you right now. That will likely significantly impact your forecast totals. However, there is still heavy snow on the way, and you've yet to see your heaviest snow in Myrtle Beach. So bottom line is clearing will happen overnight from west to east. Greenville will happen first. Then we will see Columbia. Charleston will happen next. Myrtle Beach, you likely won't clear out until around sunrise on Sunday. So you still have several more hours of some wintry precipitation. Now let's go to a different product source here to show you exactly what's happening. Here's what snowfall totals were expected. This is from the forecast model. You notice that as we progress in time, the colors are removing themselves from the map, so showing that less and less snowfall is likely. And I will tell you, frankly, to be honest with you, these totals are overdone by this particular product because Florence will not get a foot of snowfall. So just to keep that in mind, Florence will likely see some heavy snow, but you're going to be well under that foot. Myrtle Beach seems likely at 2 to 4. Maybe a little bit heavier now down towards the low country where it's showing less than an inch because you are picking up on that heavy precipitation right now. And I also want to take a look at the wind chill forecast to see if that product has updated for overnight tonight. And it's still showing widespread zeros to -2s, -3s across the state, and maybe just a few degrees above, especially along the coastline. But this is dangerous cold. This is cold that you want to make sure your neighbors have heat. You want to make sure the pets are inside. You want to make sure that the pipes are in good working order if they're not well insulated. You want to make sure that you are taking precautions with your space heater. We've seen numerous fires this winter season, and we don't want another one. We don't want another tragedy overnight. Unfortunately, there have been several fatalities in South Carolina over the winter season, and we don't want to see that again. So I want to give you an overview real quickly of where the snowfall is across the nation. It is North Carolina that is winning out by far during this winter storm. I'll show you snowfall totals in just a second. It's going to be debatable whether Southern Virginia or South Carolina comes in second. We'll have to wait to see until those final totals come in. But I do want to go to the forecast map right now and show you what snowfall totals are looking like across the region. And I will zoom on in so you can get a better sense of what's going on. Highest snowfall total right now in South Carolina that I can find is this 7.5 that's in Tigerville, South Carolina. That's just north of the Greenville area. There are other 7s along the Georgia, South Carolina border region. We move on down to the Columbia region, and we're in the 1 to 3 inch range right now. A little bit heavier up towards the Rock Hill area, 3, 4, maybe 5 inches just south of Charleston. Florence, once again, 1 to 3, but your event has just started. Don't have any reports from Myrtle Beach yet. Got our first report from Charleston at just 0.1 inches, and that will greatly increase through the next few hours. And once again, you are looking at the number 1 site, if you will, the highest snowfall totals. That's North Carolina at 14.5. And North Carolina is not done, by the way. They'll continue to see accumulations through the night, just like South Carolina. Now, I want to bring up our traffic camera network just to check out what the visuals look like in some of these places. We are looking now where some of the heaviest snow fell earlier. DOT crews have been doing a great job at clearing the roadways. You know, South Carolina has more than 41,000 miles of roadways that the DOT crews take care of, and they have certainly done their jobs today so far, according to the cameras. Earlier this afternoon, we were watching a convoy of snow removal equipment around the Columbia, South Carolina area, and I just want to see, you know, how traffic is around that neck of the woods. And there you can tell the roads are a little bit rougher, and actually we will stick on this footage for a little while because I do see some flashing lights heading towards the camera, and that will only mean one thing. It is a snow remove equipment that's going through right now. There you go. So that is how it works. That is live, that is local, and that is late breaking there just northeast of Columbia. We'll check out a few other towns and locations now to the west of Greenville. They were particularly hard hit by the winter storm with snowfall totals in that 7 to 7.5 inch range. You see, once again, doing an amazing job right there along I-85. Oh, look at that. Snow removal equipment again. We are getting lucky. And look at this. It's a whole convoy. I think we should be playing the lottery for this image right here. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, more than half a dozen snow remove equipment pieces going through the upstate right now. So you certainly like to see it. It's keeping traffic flowing, but I will say that state troopers are still warning residents, stay home, get off the roadways. Let the troopers, let the first responders have plenty of room to do their jobs because it is icy, it is treacherous out there, and we've seen crashes. We've seen reports of crashes towards around the Spartanburg area, and it's going to continue to be this way through the night, and we will again face icy conditions at least through Monday and Tuesday of this upcoming work week. There you go. There's a roadway that likely will need some snow removal relatively soon. That's I-385. That's just south of the Greenville area. So hopefully they are listening to us, and hopefully it's on their radar to get to. And actually, this is probably one of the worst looking roadways that I've seen. This is I-26 at between the Greenville and the Columbia region, and you are starting definitely to lose some of the lanes. We will check out. No, I was hoping there was some snow removal equipment heading through. It just looks like some traffic right now is heading through this region. Obviously, they are going below the speed limit, it looks like, because this is one of the rougher roadways out there. Rob, anything going on?
The guy in the red truck, I'm not sure he's that far below, but maybe it's just an optical illusion. I did want to, you mentioned that the Department of Public Safety said, please do stay off the roads. And on their Facebook page, they included pictures of overturned vehicles and vehicles that they had to help pull off the roadsides. So they back up what they say. It is true. Even though these roads are definitely a good job is being done, they still are treacherous. It's not like you're just even driving on wet roads. It's definitely more dangerous.
Yeah, and it has been dangerous, for several hours now, and you have to feel that some people are getting maybe that cabin fever,
maybe so.
and they want to get out, and, you had last weekend's event and now this weekend's event, and I think people maybe just want a weekend of calm and maybe mild weather. Who knows if that's in the forecast. We will take a look at the forecast, by the way, for those of you wondering about the weekend in just a second. Got some good video out of Buford from the firefighters there. I want to show you this shot from high up in the sky above the trees, and just showing that snow coming down right there outside of the capital city. So definitely looks like a winter wonderland across a lot of places.
And a reminder that if you have snow pictures that you would like to share, you can do that at the SCETV Facebook page, where we are having this live event now. We're also on the South Carolina Public Radio Facebook page and the SCETV News YouTube. But you can go to SCETV Facebook and upload your snow pictures. Just look for that post.
And I will say it does help if you have some type of identifiable feature there with that, whether it is a ruler, something that we know the height of, so we can gauge, how tall of snow, how much snow accumulation you have in your neighborhood. And I do want to look at Futurecast in a second here. I'm going to back it up so that we can see it live and see what it means for the next few hours here. There we go. We're starting it out at 5 o'clock. On our Saturday. Snowfall across South Carolina. I-95, I-95, I-26, I-20, all snow covered. And you do see, by the way, the heavy rain offshore. This storm system, and I'll show you this in a second here, is going to bomb out to the east of the Carolinas. We will notice some higher seas, some rough seas, some increased winds along the coast, but offshore we might be dealing with Category 2 force winds. Now, it won't be a hurricane. It's not the hurricane season. That won't start until June 1st, but it has the power, or it will have the power of a hurricane. So consider everyone up and down the I-95 corridor fortunate that this storm is staying off to sea, because sometimes we see these storm systems, they veer off to the coast and they veer back, and they inundate, Washington, D.C. or New York, with heavy snowfall. That's not going to be the case this time. Yes, those major cities in the Northeast, the nation's capital, New York City, up towards Boston, might see a few snow flurries, but most of that heavy precipitation will be limited to offshore. There is a chance that Nantucket, southeast of Boston, gets in on the heavy precipitation. But I want to put Futurecast into motion for you to show you, starting at this evening. Greenville, you notice the dry slot starting, and that will be the end, or at least the conclusion of our event in Greenville. Columbia, still well within the wet weather. Florence, Charleston as well. And Myrtle Beach, your still worst of the weather is yet to come. So I'll put this into motion, and you can see it slowly advancing. It seems like it's almost driving down the I-26 corridor, right, from northwest to southeast. You'll notice Columbia by 11 o'clock is just barely on the fringe, if this forecast model is correct. And then those of us in the PD and the Grand Strand will have to wait until sunrise on Sunday to be ordered to get past our worst weather. And so we will see several inches of accumulation in Florence and Myrtle Beach. Once again, I don't think a foot or anything in the double digits is possible, but certainly it will be enough to cause some travel problems. And I will tell you that we've seen numerous school districts across the state already go to in-learning on Monday. That's right. They already have their Monday morning plans out, and that includes Clemson University, who at last check saw at least 7 inches. They'll probably wind up in the 8, possibly 9-inch realm. They are telling their students that they will do e-learning on Monday, and so will a lot of school districts around the state. Now, I do have to address a more immediate issue, and that is that of churches. I've seen churches either move up their Sunday functions to Friday, so if you're planning on for that, you've already missed this weekend's church service. I've seen them say they're going to do live streams, and then I've seen many of them just outright cancel their Sunday services for tomorrow. So definitely check ahead, see if you can't watch your service online, because tomorrow morning is going to be rough. Keep in mind, temperatures are going to be near 0, and I'll bring up that map in just a second, and there will be plenty of snowfall on the ground. In fact, let me bring up what the model suggests that temperatures are going to feel like tomorrow AM around sunrise. We got -3 in Rock Hill, -2 in Columbia, -2 also along the I-95 corridor, single digits basically everywhere else. This is dangerous weather. It's nothing to play around in. This is the type of weather that hyperthermia sets in. So definitely check on those that don't have heat or may have limited access to heat, because this is downright dangerous cold weather out there. And it will continue through Monday morning. That will be another morning in which we will have cold weather. However, it will get more mild through the week. I know we've had this question a bunch of times, asking when will this snow melt? What do temperatures look like this week? And here's the latest 7-day forecast. It's showing temperatures throughout the next few days that is below average, but at least it's more mild, right? On Monday, we are only talking about highs in the 30s, 32 degrees if we're lucky, 33. But if we can't get to that 54, and if we can get to that 58, at least in the Midlands and Columbia, then we might be sitting pretty. And I would suspect that a lot of that snow will be gone by the time we enter next weekend. That's when temperatures will rise up into the nearly 60 degrees across the Midlands, 60 along the coast, and it'll be a little bit cooler towards the upstate. But again, when you have that warmer weather, also there is also a chance we get some rain in here, which will help melt some of that snow as well towards the later half of the week. So I would say if you want to take pictures with the snow, Sunday is going to be your day. Monday, it'll also be around, but by Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to become slushy, and that will become an icy mess during the overnight hours.
Yeah, that's not something anybody wants. You know, before we started our webcast, we had some questions about not only how long the snow is going to be on the ground, but someone alluded to what kind of pattern are we in right now in the United States for, I mean, is February going to be tumultuous?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, you know, the chief prognosticator, Punxsutawney Phil, will have that answer, I guess, right? That'll be on Monday, believe it or not.
I don't have his live stream there, so.
Oh, yeah, we should, yeah, that could be a good live stream event from there. So Punxsutawney is only right between 35 and 40% of the time. He has, by the way, last year, 2025, he did see his shadow, but then we had a mild February and March. Like, there were record temperatures in March around the country, so he actually missed it. He was thinking we would have an extended winter, and we actually had an end to winter.
That's because he's not a degreed meteorologist.
Right. Only rely on your degreed meteorologist for your information. But 35 to 40% of the time, let's see here, he has forecasted 6 more weeks of winter, 84% of the time. So, and I think if he goes for 6 more weeks of winter, that this time around that he will be accurate.
I believe him.
And here is why. Okay, so this is current snow cover across the country. It does not have today's totals in there, so that's why you see South Carolina still not highlighted by any shades of blue out there. So we'll get that information highlighted in the map overnight when the actual values come in, but you'll see this map expand because of today's snowstorm. And so what this does, it helps the colder air that's in Canada work its way southeast. So it's insulated, right? It's like a conveyor belt. So earlier, if you remember December, we had warmth, and yes, there was record warmth around the southeast. If you remember January, we were actually 83 degrees, I believe, was a record warmth in Columbia, a record high. There wasn't any snowfall in the plains. It was miserable out west in the ski resorts because there wasn't any snow. Now we have a snowpack, so that will allow these air masses to easily come down when there is a polar vortex disruption, and that means it'll be colder air that'll make it all the way down here to the Gulf Coast, to the Mid-Atlantic, etc. And this is a decent snowpack, and it's not going away anytime soon. So that means for February, it's looking like it's going to be a cold month. Now, this is only through the first week or two of February. This is from NOAA. This is their climate outlook. It's orange. That means it's west out west. It's warm out west in the southwest in Utah. But then notice on the east coast, it looks like a tundra. Hopefully it won't be a tundra, but it's not looking good if you want an early spring. It's looking like this wintry pattern will continue. And we actually see it in the forecast models. There are disturbances that will be moving through the eastern section of the country, and it will just depend on their trajectory, where they're at, for who will get the snow, who will get the rain, and there might even be a possibility of severe weather as we start to look into severe weather season. You know, that usually starts in the spring, and it wouldn't surprise me if we were talking about thunderstorms in a week or two across parts of the Sunshine State. However, we still need a lot of more data to decipher where the rain will sit up, where the snow lines will sit up in the next few weeks. But don't be surprised if you see social media going crazy, and a lot of these meteorologists like Punxsutawney Phil, if they have social media accounts, they go on there.
I'm sure they do.
They will share the GFS model that goes out nearly 2 weeks, and it'll jump around. If you see a snowstorm in the southeast today, it might be over the Ohio Valley tomorrow, and there just isn't that data in yet to be able to determine where exactly it'll be. And you really need to know where the low is going to set up, where the highs are going to set up in order to make an accurate forecast.
Indeed. So you're confident that the snow will be ending overnight, then we'll just be into extremely cold temperatures after that.
Exactly. And I will look at let me see here. Let me bring that product up. This is going to be current temps, I believe. Temperatures right now, 20s, just around that in Greenville and Rock Hill. 31 towards the low country, and 28 in Charleston. This will seem balmy compared to what we will fall to overnight. I'm expecting many locales to reach record low temperatures, and actually this might be the first time this winter that we will see so many record lows. We saw record highs in December, we saw record highs in January, so now we are flipping that script and we are seeing the record lows. I guess if you will, it's balancing out. Mm-hmm. Before the weekend storm last weekend, we were actually a couple degrees above normal for meteorological winter. Meteorological winter began on December 1st and runs through the end of February, but as of mid-January, we were above normal on temperatures, and we were below normal on snowfall. And we have flipped the script on snowfall. We will be above normal, obviously, after this snowstorm. Temperatures still to be determined, but if it is anything like what we are seeing now, it's going to be difficult to finish this winter, much above average. We are still in that average ballpark right now, but depending on what February produces, we could absolutely end it below average.
Yeah, we did have a lot of questions earlier about Columbia specifically. And how it looks like it may be wrapping up for Columbia in a little bit.
I will
look at that.
Well, let's take a look in Columbia right now, and we will do all kinds of products here. First, I want to take you to the live radar image, and here's what live radar is saying. It's showing Columbia in the decent snowfall. I would say moderate, because the heavier stuff seems to be off to the east right now and off to the northwest. So I would say light to moderate. All of this that you see west of Columbia is the light stuff, and that's all heading from northwest to southeast. I will take a look now at Nowcast. So what this product is going to do is going to advance that timestamp. So notice that timestamp. It says 5:23. It's forecasting what it's going to do during the next few hours here. And it does show this dry slot, expanding in coverage, and that will involve Columbia. So yes, Columbia is going to get a significant break. Now I will zoom on out because you always want to be careful of what is behind, the rainfall and the snowfall. And it doesn't look like there is much over northwest Georgia, northeast Georgia. So I would venture to say that Columbia is wrapping up their heaviest snowfall right now, and it will turn lighter through the evening and will eventually, by midnight, most of the precipitation will be east and southeast of the capital city. And I want to look at cameras in around Columbia just to get a better sense, how the roadway conditions are. And we aren't seeing too many problems around the Beltway. Actually, here are some red markers here. We will take a look. Again, this is the area where we saw that convoy of trucks moving through, removing the snow. Here comes another one now. Yes, exactly. We are so lucky on this today. I think they have more than 200 pieces of equipment out there, and I guess it's our job, right, to count every single one, making sure they're doing their job, and they absolutely are. So the roadways look fine. Once again, a moderate snowfall, I would call it there. We'll take a look at a few more cameras around the Columbia area, and please let us know if you have any questions in or around Columbia or anywhere around the state, and we'll try to answer those during this live event. Right now, once again, more roadways looking okay, I would imagine. I've
this
seen
picture
better.
reminds you that overpasses freeze faster than
Yes.
The actual roads, grounded
Yes.
roads. So just keep that in mind.
Yes, and the meteorology behind that is because you're not on the surface, right? You're on an elevated surface. You're above ground level, so you don't have that ground heat. So as you head up in the atmosphere, as you head up in the air, it turns cooler quicker, and there we go. Also, bridges obviously are over water most of the time, so you have that added moisture around bridges, and that can easily freeze. And I'm sure it's freezing now because when we looked at temperatures, they were in the 20s, and it's only going to drop from here because remember, we are around 10 degrees tonight for a low, and single digits to around 0 when you factor in that wind chill. So it will definitely be a cold one. There will be ice on the road. Take it slowly. Make sure there's plenty of room between you and the car in front of you, and leave a few minutes early if you have to go out. Remember, we've heard it from public officials across the state during the previous storm and during this storm. They say if you happen to just stay home, that is the best case scenario because you don't know what it is like out there. And certainly a lot of us aren't used to this type of weather, right? It's only once every blue moon, if you will, that we see something like this. There goes a car. Boy, he was pretty fast. These cars seem pretty fast on this ramp. I'm not sure I would be going that fast on
Maybe
this
it
ramp
just
at this
seems
hour.
that fast to us. I don't know.
It seems that fast.
It looks pretty fast.
It seems that fast. So hopefully there's a lot of treatment down there, whether it's the sand, the salt. A lot of places use that brine now. That's a newer technology to get that ice off the roadway. So we will continue to watch Columbia and other places across the state. Anyone have any comments from anywhere across the state?
Nothing right now. Just a reminder that we will continue to provide coverage on SCE TV stations, as well as your local public radio station here in South Carolina.
And we'll check on a few more cameras here across the state. This is pretty nasty. I-26, this is well south of Columbia. You notice the camera is shaking. That is no surprise because we've been warning about these winds, right? 10, 20, 30 miles an hour. So sometimes we've been seeing these cameras shake, and it brings down visibility at times. Certainly this roadway, I-26, looks like it needs some help to the south of Columbia, and we will go ahead and go further south and east, and we'll take it. You know what? Let's go down to Charleston. We have not been to Charleston on our round robin around here. We'll go right near the airport to see what's going on. And wow, what a difference! A couple hundred miles makes from northwest to southeast. You remember those I-26? It was all snow covered to the northwest and the upstate, and you head all the way down to Charleston, and the
You can
snow.
tell it's snowing though. It
Yeah,
is snowing.
it is snowing. It is snowing. It's having a hard time. Obviously, it's warmer there. You have a lot of water around, so it takes a lot more in the terms of snow and ice to get it to stick, to get it to accumulate. But it will certainly do so. Again, not looking for any type of record-breaking snowfall in Charleston, but it will be quite the scene once we do get it in and out of here. I will advise you, if you want to see a winter wonderland and you're in Charleston, you're in Myrtle Beach, you're anywhere along the coast, wake up at sunrise on Sunday and look out your window, because the snowfall will have exited off the coast. It will look stormy off the coast, and that's because of that cyclone, that bomb cyclone that's forming, and that'll probably be the deepest that you'll see it, and then the snow will gradually melt through the day on Sunday and into Monday. And I do want to take a look at one feature I have for you, and that's going to be the bomb cyclone graphic that I have made. This is forecast winds. Once again, well offshore, but we could be talking about winds 100 miles an hour plus. So you will likely see vessels depart their normal routes out to sea. This is between the United States and Bermuda. Bermuda is the small island that you see right about there where my cursor is, and we will put this into motion. And it looks like a hurricane, right? You'll see the eye, and you'll definitely want to look at satellite imagery tomorrow and on Monday, because it will be a classic looking signature of this winter storm as it heads away. And as it heads away, our winds will reduce, our chances of snow will fall, and we'll actually start to warm up. But once again, not to normal levels, but closer to normal than what we have seen over the past couple of days.
Quite an impressive storm. A lot of energy. And
a lot of energy, and once again, lucky, because someone could be under that storm system, and no one wants to be under that, because that would be a mess.
That's right. Hopefully we won't see one of these for a while.
Absolutely. Well, that'll do it for this live edition, so make sure to check out the SCETV News YouTube page, where you can look at the forecast models and take a look at the live conditions throughout the evening, and we'll get through this storm together. That'll do it for us here in the Weather Center.